The prosecution's calling new witnesses in the trial of a Massachusetts mother accused of murdering her 3 children. Police say Lindsay Clancy strangled her children inside their home, then tried to kill herself by jumping out a window, leaving her paralyzed. The defense is arguing she's not criminally responsible because Clancy was suffering from postpartum psychosis at the time. And now the prosecution could call their last witness today. ABC's Peter Haralambous and ABC legal contributor Bernardo Villalona are here with more details. So, Peter, what's happening in court today?
Yeah, so we're finally hearing from these last witnesses for prosecutors. The judge told the jury this morning that the prosecution's expected to rest sometime today. So for this witness that we started with, he's an expert in phones and forensics. He works for a company called Celebrite, which they use to kind of do extractions of cell phones in cases like this. And he's basically going through what Lindsay Clancy was searching, what she was doing on her phone in the final days before she killed her 3 children. So 2 things that really stood out from this testimony. One, a few days ahead of the actual incident on January 19th, she actually looked up symptoms for postpartum psychosis. That's kind of a key point, if anything, for defense lawyers. And then the actual day of the killings, she was looking up kids' Miralax and also how long it takes in Google Maps, basically, to get from her home to the place where they ordered takeout. That's kind of a key part of the prosecution case. They argued she timed that out so she could be really deliberate in terms of sending her ex-husband outside of the home. So more of this testimony expected, though we do expect them to rest their case after about 70 witnesses today.
Bernardo, several doctors and nurses who treated Clancy also said that she didn't show signs of postpartum psychosis. How do you expect the defense to counter that?
Well, the defense is going to counter it, aside from the cross-examination that they already conducted of those witnesses, that they're going to bring in their own experts to testify and be like that she was misdiagnosed, that she was showing signs of psychosis, and that all of these people that treated her previously had failed her. And because they failed her, that she shouldn't be held responsible for her actions on that day because she wasn't able to conform herself to know the wrongfulness of her acts.
They also said they didn't communicate with each other about her care. Do you think the defense is going to home in on that?
Absolutely. The defense is going to hone in on every seed of doubt that they can actually put forth in front of this jury and also seek as much sympathy as they can. So yes, 3 kids were lost, but also wants to focus on, look at Miss Clancy, how she's paralyzed now. Look at her actions even throughout the trial, because remember, there's been several breakdowns from her. In fact, doing the medical examiner testifying, the judge had to take a break when the medical examiner was describing the autopsy and what those kids suffered at that time. And that's going to play a huge role in terms of the deliberations for these jurors, even though sympathy shouldn't be taken into account.
Peter, jurors also heard Clancy's own words in her notes from her phone. How is that playing into the case?
Yeah, this was heartbreaking testimony on Thursday. That was the last day they heard testimony until today. And you heard a few things from Lindsay Clancy. You heard her concern about parenting, for example, writing, and I quote here, "I'm terrified of seeing something happen to my kids or doing something wrong to mess up their development." You hear her expressing fear about changing medications. That's something that's come up time and time again with this defense case. Writing, quote, "I'm on the fence about starting a new medication. I just want to feel happy. I want to be able to relax and take care of my kids." Though as we got closer to January 24th, 2023, things did appear to get darker. One of the last searches on her phone was, quote, "Can you treat a sociopath?"
Bernardo, what are you watching for next here?
Well, I want to see exactly who are these experts that the defense plans on calling, because ultimately this is going to be the battle of the experts. It's not about whether Ms. Clancy killed her 3 kids, because that's clear what happened on that day. The timeline is clear. It's as to what was going on in her mind. Was she going through some psychosis? What I'm going to see actually at the end towards closing arguments, I expect actually the prosecution is going to focus on that phone call to the husband, because that's the clear communication that took place, that the husband was in the best position to be like, she was talking crazy, or this is exactly what she was saying, because it said that it's within seconds of that phone call that she either killed the 3 kids or was in a process of killing the 3 kids. And that gives us the best insight as to what was on her mind or what she was processing at the time.
All right, Peter Haralambous, Bernardo Villalona, thank you.
Thank you.
And we have some breaking news. Prosecutors have now rested their case against Lindsay Clancy. We'll continue to follow that story throughout the day here on ABC News Live.